bike 74, and another couple coming in, but no, there's some big holes at the front. Dave Fellows there, Matt Dunlop there, not there, Scott Finley not there, Vaughan Main I think is there, yep. And we're just waiting for the off. So the red lights are all 5 are on now. They're out, and I'll tell you what, 49 got a great start. Vaughan Main, he's up in the second position. Jared Horn, because he had no competition on the front row, got away with it quite nicely. As I'll tell you what, Vaughan Main caught him too as they go down to under the bridge. Let's have a look. And yep, so it's here comes the second wave of them as they all head round. How many bikes we got on this one? Let's have a look. This massive field of bikes here, 37 in this one as well, so not quite as big as the higher songs, but still a big field. Okay, down into the dipper now, and well, we've got it's all on the front here between Fellows and hang on a minute, I'm not even on the right page here. Let's have a look. What's going on here? Oh. Okay, we've now got it back again. Sorry about that, folks. I had the bikes right, just didn't have the timing correct. So out of there, they come up the hill, they come, and it was Jared Horn from Vaughan Main as they come across the start-finish stripe. Let's have a look. It was Horn leads Main, leads Finley, who's at the fastest open lap from Telford, Parker, and Bergman. So they head down under the bridge, and Horn's actually lost the lead through there, and it looks like Scott Finley might have got up into second position, and now Horn comes back, has got past Vaughan Main, back up in the second position, takes an inside line into the hairpin, and I tell you what, great power out of there from Vaughan Main, has actually taken that position back again, climbs up the hill, drops down the dip, and I tell you what, he's going to have a crack in first place and picks it up in the process. Nicely done for him. And it's gone from third to first in one fell swoop. Heads down towards the daylight here, the sweeper, and the three of them, we can throw a blanket over them as they go through there. Then there's a bit of a gap back to Bruce Telford, who's sort of in a bit of no man's land, and then a fairly big gap to Sean Parker with Paul Bergman following him through. Then it will be Dean Summer and Simon Greenhall. Up the top here now, we've got another pass going on, coming across the stripe. Who's it going to be? Scott Finley leads across from Jared Horn, and Vaughan Main back down into third position. So it's all changing around at the top. Let's watch them head down under the bridge here now. And Scott Finley is, and it is Horn, second Vaughan Main there, and then Bruce Telford comes through third next. Bruce Telford's actually catching this pack because they're starting to squabble amongst themselves, which obviously is starting to hold them up, but Scott Finley's breaking away from them. And another pass back down the inside there, and that would be Vaughan Main back on Jared Horn as they come up the hill here now, drop down into the Porsche dipper. And once again, as I said, you can throw a blanket over them, they're all fairly close. Bruce Telford and no man's land. Sean Parker now, he's got a bit of a problem. He's got Paul Bergman having a crack at him as they come down into the Porsche dipper. Then we go a little bit further back there to Paul Bergman and Dean Summer. Meanwhile, our lead bikes have come out of the hairpin. I tell you what, Main's taken it. He's got a stonking lead now. He's really opened it up coming up the hill here as he comes around the top and back into our view across the stripe. There's a good scrap going on for second and third place. Finley across there. Horn comes through. Main is in third. Telford comes through next. Not too far off the back of them now. But Finley's just walking away at the front here. He's just opened up that gap. And it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger by the lap. And oh, look at this. Main and Horn scrapping over second position here, heading down towards the Gold Homes hairpin. And oh, nice move by Main. He does a crisscross on Horn, but that doesn't quite come off. And you can just see Bruce Telford sitting there in fourth position, just thinking, I just want to get onto the back of this little scrap. Meanwhile, the battle royal going on there for fifth, sixth and seventh is absolutely raging between Parker, Bergman and Sumner. And here they come on the front straight, one of the back markers in the way. They've got past him as they climb up the hill here. And across the stripe they come. And it is not a lot between the three of them. Horn still second, Main third, Telford fourth. Meanwhile, Finley's just disappearing up the road. He's going. So around turn 2, and now Horn's broken away from Main and Telford and is setting off after Finley. And let's check the lap times out and see how they're getting on. So it's a 4-car, 4-bike race at the front. Meanwhile, the scrapping mob going on behind there, they're climbing all over each other as well. As you can see, that's the Parker, Bergman, Sumner, Greenhalgh fight. And look for a lead bike going in there now. One of the back markers come in. Here comes Finley up on him, goes right around the outside of him. You wonder what happened to him there as he stands his bike up in the middle of the track in there, gets swallowed up by Horn as he comes through, and then it'll be Main and Telford coming up the hill. In fact, I think Telford's got past Main here as they come around the top of the track across the stripe. And there's Bruce Telford, and he sets the fastest lap of the race in the process on the Aprilia, up in the third position. And with they're on the last lap now, so it could be a little bit too little, too late. But like I say, Jared Horn now is hunting down Scott Finley, and he is closing quite dramatically. Meanwhile, Telford and Main are absolutely belting each other up as they come down into the Golden Homes hairpin, and Main takes that place back from Telford as they climb up the hill, drop down into the dipper. Meanwhile, our two lead bikes, and look at Telford and Main here side by side through the Porsche dipper. Still side by side as they go down the straight, but I think Telford's got a little bit more grunt in a straight line. He has. He's pulled past Main there. As they come up the hill here, checker flag is going to be out for them as they come around the top of the track. It'll be checkered flag for Main. He'll take it from Scott Finley took it from Jared Horn, who set the fastest lap of the race on the last lap in a desperate dive to try and get back on the turns. He was only 0.5 of a second off of him. Bruce Telford was third. Horn Main was fourth, fifth was Paul Bergman. Sean Parker came in sixth, seventh was Dean Sumner, and eighth was Shane Greenhalgh. Kerry Chapman came through in ninth, and rounding out the top 10 was Ben Mayo. Okay, so they're still coming across the line now in the intermediates, and our next race up will be the Carl Cox Motorsport Hearthstone Cup Le Mans start, and that will be race 9. Of course,